Fairfax County School District saying 3 Virginia public school students and 6 parents were on that American Airlines flight that collided with an Army helicopter. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin calling the situation heart-wrenching.
To know that 67 innocent lives were lost in this tragedy, with 67 families having to deal with the reality that they lost a mother and a father or a sister or brother or a son or a daughter is just breathtaking.
Virginia Lieutenant Governor and 2025 Virginia gubernatorial candidate Winston Earl Sears joins me now. Lieutenant Governor, how do you even begin to console a community following something like this?
You know, it reminds me of when we had the tornadoes come through in Virginia Beach and just tore whole houses gone, and when we had the floods in our southwest and this community's whole gone. And sometimes all you can do is just be there and hug necks and cry with them and tell them, we're going to get through this. I know it's going to be hard, but you're going to get through it. And here's the thing. When it's a sudden death like this, you know, you're coming to the airport to pick up your loved one, it's normal and natural. Then you're going to go out and maybe eat dinner and talk about homework, as in the case of the children that were killed on the flight. It shocks your system.
Do you think we need to re-examine the air traffic at Reagan and other busy airports throughout the country? But of course, your focus there is the Washington, D.C. metro area. Do we need to refocus on Reagan?
Well, certainly something has to be done, and that's why the NTSB is doing all that they can, as I'm told, to make sure that this doesn't happen again. It is a very busy air corridor. You know, we've got a lot of elected officials from all over the country coming in and out, and then and so we also have a military installation there. So this kind of heavy traffic is not unheard of, but we understand that it's been understaffed. You know, we have someone, the air traffic controller, who is responsible for both the helicopters and the airplanes, and I'm told that it's supposed to not be that way. And this is something, as I've also watched, where the NTSB persons have testified before Congress that this is a problem where we have perpetual understaffing of our airports. So something has to be done, and, you know, the black boxes were recovered last night, and that is going to reveal more information. So we've got to let the investigations happen, but truly a tragedy, absolutely.
Yeah, this is still so fresh, but you certainly hope that something positive comes out of this for the rest of the air traveling public. We need to be safer, and I think we really do need to re-examine these huge hubs and the crowded airspace in these facilities, because a lot of people have said it was just a matter of time before something like this happens. Meantime, you have been on the forefront of the fight against illegal migrant crime, the feds cuffing more than 900 illegal migrants in one single day, including Tren de Aragua gangbangers and a dangerous Honduran migrant. Yet, why are your colleagues on the left, Lieutenant Governor, still seemingly up in arms about Donald Trump's deportation plans?
You know, it boggles the mind, and it doesn't make any common sense. But then, you know, we're sorely lacking in that area, because we have had illegals here who have committed severe crimes. I'm talking about murder in some of our communities. I'm talking about fentanyl poisoning that has come through our borders and has hurt so many Virginians. And then, of course, we have had rapes that have happened. And God forbid that we should have these folks gone from our country. We have had enough of this nonsense, and it is time for those, especially who are criminals and here illegally. You've got to go back home. You're making a mess of our country. You said that you came here for the opportunities, as my father did, but you didn't. And you came here illegally. So I am with President Trump 100%. And finally, we're not going to have sanctuary cities in Virginia. The people do not want them. Poll after poll shows they are not safe. Folks don't feel safe in their communities. And that's why we're elected, to do the common sense thing. And the first thing is to keep everyone safe.
Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you.
Hey guys, I've been saying for a long time, at least this is my non-expert take on the situation, airplanes can basically fly themselves nowadays. Yes, you need someone in there when something goes wrong, but automation is so good. You can push a button for the most part and the plane can take off, fly, land all on its own. The tech has been there for decades. So in 2025, and yes, Boeing is manufacturing these airplanes. So third world country pilots can fly them. Just, read into that what you will. Morons can sit in the cockpit these days. Again, we're generalizing here, but air traffic control is where it's going to be made or broken, make or break airline safety, because pilots in the cockpit, no matter how good the tech is inside the airplane, are still relying on human communication and the transmission of communication to space them, navigate them, route them, reroute them, put them in a pattern, get them on the ground. Like, you are relying on a human being in a tower looking at a computer screen to make sure that you are in a safe airspace and you're not going to run into another aircraft, as we saw happen at DC's Reagan Airport last week when a helicopter, a military helicopter, smashed into an American Airlines jet. Humans involved in the tower, I think, will play a much larger safety role than human beings inside the cockpit. Now, I know the counter argument to that immediately is like, what was the Black Hawk helicopter doing 400 feet above the ground? I think they had blown their ceiling by 100 or 200%. Like, yes, this is a problem, but it's also a problem if you believe reports that there was one person in the tower controlling the airspace when there are normally two. One person talking to the helicopter, talking to the American Airlines pilot, talking to who knows how many other aircraft. You've got departures, landings, crossings in airspace. You are watching all of this, talking to all of them. That is more than one person should be doing. I put that on the tower. Yes, the helicopter pilot blew through their ceilings. There needs to be an explanation for that. And then, of course, you can put the tinfoil hat on and be like, was the woman pilot really a woman? There were rumors that it was not a woman. I mean, they said they were a woman, but they weren't. You've got reports that the co-pilot was somehow an attaché of the Biden administration. Like, there's some weird stories circulating around the Black Hawk. We know that they can fly remotely even. Like, so much tinfoil to go around here. You got to buy me more tinfoil to finally understand what's happening. But if you believe just the mainstream narrative, and it's plausible enough, one person in the tower, all women in the helicopter. Sorry, folks, it is what it is. Seems like there was nothing wrong with the American Airlines jet. Like, they were a minute away from landing safely on the ground. They were just doing what they were supposed to be doing. But it's the tower that's going to be the problem. Where am I going with this? We need to figure out how to staff the tower. We need to figure out if it can be automated, AI'd, like, make that happen. But then you got to look at incentives too. Rather than offer more money to get the best of the best, and honestly, if the government's going to spend money, put it in the air traffic control system so that we can get all these thousands of daily flights up and down safely, rather than, instead of offering more money and more incentives to get the best of the best, the FAA has done the opposite, and they have lowered standards and promoted DEI. Because, yes, we all care about the gay, dwarf, transgender, black tower person navigating my airplane from point A to point B. I know whenever I sit in an airplane, I'm thinking to myself, I really hope the captain of this plane is communicating with a gay, dwarf, transgender, black. That would make my day. That would know that America has really, finally come to terms with its racist and misogynist and sexist past. We have this gay, transgender, black dwarf in the tower talking to my retarded, handicapped, I don't know, transgender, asexual, pansexual pilot. America's really made strides. Nobody thinks that way. They want to know that the person flying the plane and the person talking to their people flying the plane are qualified. That's it. NDEI in the tower, NDEI in the cockpit. Can I please just get safely to my destination?